things to be held up just because some senator doesn't like the color of their hair or something like that. The Civil Rights Act shouldn't have taken 54 days to be enacted. Just because it took 54 days doesn't mean it was special. It means that it was special. It was especially sad that we had to listen for 54 days while all that nonsense went on. The filibuster is a useful tool, but like any tool, it can be abused. This limits a tool that has been abused and lets the circle of life be put back in place. I yield any remaining time to the author summation.
You have yielded 30 seconds for the author summation.
Patrick Reagan for the Ohio delegation. You know, I'm sure many of us in history class have watched the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Do you all remember the scene where you see Senator Smith with his 5 o'clock shadow having a bag lunch brought in because he's filibustering a bill that will prevent something good from happening? Filibuster is protecting democracy. Dissent is democracy, last time I checked in America. Our government operates by the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But most of these, liberty, not tyranny. In order to protect democracy and the opinion of the minority party in the Senate, whether you agree with them or not, we need to protect the filibuster. For if we start limiting speech, we open a dangerous door. We start down a slippery slope. Remember, dissent protects democracy, and do we really want to crush the Jefferson Smiths of this world? Thank you, and have a great evening.
And when in session of Congress, those who are trying to represent us and our ideals and those options and choices that are the best for our people and our constituents, they have to get out as much information as possible. With this filibuster that is limited, they now have to put out that information, have to put out those beliefs as quickly as possible. And with that, they are now forced to debate effectively, and those who don't want to do so, that is fine. They're on C-SPAN, everyone's watching them. Second is that American politics needs to be more effective. As we are all moving on to compromise here, we're debating on con and pro, we still have to realize that the American Congress needs to do the exact same thing. And by limiting the debate so that everyone can have the chance to rebuttal every single other representative or senator, then we have to make it more effective. And also, we have time-limited speeches on just taking on the floor. Usually it only lasts for about 3 minutes at the maximum. When you actually make it so limited such as this, they now have to do the exact same thing. They are used to the time-limited speeches. A time-limited filibuster will make them even more used to it. In addition, I would just like to add that in the 1990s when the Clinton administration was trying to pass effective laws for health care, the longest filibuster lasted 16 hours, with the senator only reading New York Times articles. We have to find ways to make this debate more effective, make our constituents think that our senators are important and effective people, and not watch them on C-SPAN, looking at them at just reading articles and talking about culinary arts or something else. Please look at this and pass the proposal. I yield my time to the
Paul, Tennessee. Now, this proposal is acting like filibusters are a bad thing. Senators do filibusters because there's something wrong with the bill. Their constituents aren't represented, or ideas in there are flawed. It's the majority party trying to push partisan politics through the legislature. And the senators don't want that. Their constituents don't want that. Now here, I know when all of you get up to speak, you raise your placards and the chair calls on you. But when you hear the compro debate's over and there's still 30, 40 of you wishing to speak, I know there's that sense of, oh man, do you want your senators doing that? Because they feel that they didn't accurately represent their constituents in their district. You're not getting represented adequately because this is stopping filibusters. This is even taking away the meaning of a filibuster. It's meant to end legislation. It's to take a legislation, debate it all the way through until the end, to stop this bill from ever being voted on. It's to say that we can't do this. We have to work together as one nation. We have to pass one law that affects all of us, that is good for all of us. You can't just say it's delaying, because the filibuster is not meant to delay. It's meant to end. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Minnesota, I reserve the right to yield to Coffin, Minnesota.
That is right.
The majority in the Senate was elected by the people. Limiting the filibuster will ensure that the people get their way through the Senate majority. Minorities in the Senate still hold power in committees and the chamber. But This is the important part. Their power is proportional to the American opinion of them. Their power has been determined by the people, by us. That is democracy. Filibustering is a trick to gain more power than the people voted them in for. That is why the filibuster should be limited. I yield my time to Kaufman, Minnesota.
You have yielded 1 minute.
Kaufman, Minnesota. Thank you, Chair. Hey guys, my name's Jake. Crazy weather today, right? I mean, I don't know.
Delia, please keep your comments germane.
What I just did is filibuster. Now, you guys wouldn't want that to go on forever, right? I mean, the United States Senate is the most prestigious and most important forum for debate in the world. How can stuff like that happen for 54 days on the most important piece of legislation maybe this country has ever had? It's just, it's not something that we need as a part of this country. We need